Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in today. In this video, I'm going to continue my series detailing the most common mistakes in trap shooting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how to put the gun on your shoulder in exactly the same spot every time. See you in a second. Alright, so I think that probably one of the most understated abilities of the great shooters in today's competitive environment is their ability to do things exactly the same way every single time. And mounting the gun on the shoulder perfectly the same every time that you need to mount the gun, it's a huge deal whenever you're shooting, because if you are mounting it differently, then you're changing your point of impact, which is ultimately not going to work in your favor when you're shooting. You have to make sure that you're going to mount it the same way every time that you're out of the club. And what I mean by that is just your ability to just lay it on your shoulder exactly the same way every time, and to get into that gun and make sure you're mounting it and putting your head on exactly the same position on the comb of the gun as well. Alright, so you might be asking, how do I know where I'm supposed to be mounting the gun at on the shoulder? Well, that's a good question. The way that I've always found best to figure it out is I tell people to pick their arm up with their bicep, the lower part of their bicep, parallel to the ground. And what you're going to do is you're going to feel on your shoulder right here for the part that there's no bone and there's no muscle, it's just flesh. It's kind of soft. That's where you want to mount your gun at. So some tips of mine for making sure that you're mounting your gun exactly the same way every time. One thing that you can do is, and it's so simple and so easy to do, that anybody can do this, is just practice mounting your gun in your house. I mean, make sure the gun is unloaded and everything, but just pick yourself an empty wall, and maybe you can put a mirror there. That's great if you can see yourself. That's not necessarily required, but it does help out a little bit. And just sit there and just practice mounting your gun time after time after time, making sure that you're getting it exactly where you want it. Now that's the key. If you're just practicing mounting your gun, you're not really doing a whole lot of good other than maybe just building stamina. But as far as your shooting, you're not actually helping yourself because you're practice mounting it the wrong way. So make sure that you get it figured out first on where you want to put the gun at on your shoulder and how you want your head laying on the cone. Another tip that you can use is to have a reference point on your cheek. So for me, I'm going to start laying it down kind of where my teeth and my gum come together. For me, that's my reference point. I can feel that, so I know that's where I'm going to start putting my cheek on the gun and then start pushing it down to get into the gun. Also, you can line up the back bead and the front bead of your gun. Personally, I have my back bead probably about half of the way into the front bead, a quarter to a half, somewhere in there. Now, a lot of people believe in the figure 8, and I'm a pretty big believer in that as well. For whatever reason, my gun just tends to fit me personally better, at about a quarter of the way into where the back side is a quarter of the way into the front side. So for me, if my front sight's here, then my back sight's going to be up into it a little bit. The figure 8 is just where they're solidly stacked like that. It's great to have a reference point that way so that you know you're putting your head on the gun exactly the same way, and you're also getting it mounted onto your shoulder the same way every single time that you're going out to the club to shoot. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate it. If you want to subscribe to my channel, and I'd appreciate it if you did, click here. If you want to watch another video, you can click here. And if you want more trap shooting tips, click here. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.